So once again, very good evening, guys. So in the last sessions, we have discussed about storage procedures. So in the storage procedures, we have discussed loops and different kind of loops, and finally we have deal with the cursors and with any examples. So today we are going to start with a new concept. So before diving into the actual topics, let me tell you something. So as of now, we are retrieving the records from the table like this. So let's suppose in my employees table, so I have a columns like employee number, first name, extensions, email ID, office code, and reports to job title. So now my requirement is I want to find the candidates, or else I want to find the employees whose job is sales rep. So I want to retrieve all the employee details who is having job is a sales report. So we can retrieve that record like this. Select employee number, mm, last name, first name from employees table. So where our condition is job title. So where job title is equal to mm, sales rep. So sorry guys, I need to use database first. So now it retrieve the all the records who is having job title sales report. So if you see and if you see the how the MySQL internally process this query, you can see that results by using one of the class. That class name is explain. So explain. So actually it is a class, it should be come before the select statement. So it will explain the entire query. So if you execute, it will give the full details of the this statement. So ID, the what is the type, select type, and from which table, and partition type. So possible keys. So job title. So we are getting based on the job title. So the for that it is given the job titles and length and how many rows are present. That means how many rows it retrieved from the employees table. From this employee tables, we have 17 records. That means 17 employees has the job title sales repo. So that means by seeing this query, we can conclude that whenever you execute the query based on some conditions, so this query will check row by row in the table. That means if my table contain 1,000 tables, if my table contain 1,000 records, then it will check row by row until 1,000 rows. So that means it is taking lot of time. So in order to overcome this issue, in MySQL we have a new concept that is called index. So index. So in a SQL, an index is a database object. So database object, it is a well-defined entities, or you can think of a well-defined structures. Uh, index and story procedures, tables, triggers. So these are all the database objects. So this database object provide fast and efficient way to look up and retrieve data from the table. So by using index, we can retrieve the certain records from the table in efficient way without consuming a lot of time. So index improves the speed of data retrieval operation by creating data structure. So in MySql, if you work with an index, so in those cases, that MySQL server will internally use data structure concept. So the default data structure is B tree. Yeah, so MySQL will use this B tree data structure to retrieve the records in an efficient way. That allows database engine to quickly locate and access specific rows based on the values in the one or more columns. So one more point is, so when you create table with the primary key or unique key, so the MySQL automatically create a special index named primary. So for example, if you create any table with a primary or a unique key, after creating the MySQL internally will create one index that is called primary. It is a keyword in the index. So it automatically create one index that is primary. So this index is called cluster index. So because this index is automatically created by the MySQL, so that's why it is a cluster index. So apart from this index, if you create any index on a column manually, so those index are called non-cluster indexes. So now I am going to create. So in SQL, we can create the index in two ways. One is while creating the table, you can create index, and the another one is after the table creation of the table, we can create index on a specific columns. So the create index statement is used to create index in a tables. So this syntax is create index, and we need to give the index name on which table we are creating index, and inside the parenthesis we can mention multiple columns also and a single column also. So now I'm going to create index for job title. So for that we need to use the syntax create index. So my index name is job title. So on which table? I'm employees table. Plus table. So inside of the employees table, I need to specify the column name. On which column I need to give the index. So in employee columns, we have a job title column. So I'm going to give index for job title column. So we need to give the column name, job title. So now you need to execute this duplicate key name job title. Mhm. So now the index has been created for job title column in employee tables. So you can see this. So inside the employee tables, you can find an index node. So if you expand, you can find the job title. So now I'm going to execute this same SQL statement with an explain class. So you can see this. So table name is employee. So we are giving the index name. So this is the index name. Possible key. So this is the index name and a keys and a key length. It will store in internally the index will store some key length on the reference constant it, rows. So in employee tables we have a more than 25 rows. So let me check it also. Yeah. Mm. So actually, I have in previous, I have already created a index for the job title. So that's why. So if you execute this query without creating the index, you can find. So from the employee tables, we have a total 23 rows. So that means this statement. That means this statement will check 23 rows one by one. So in all 23 rows, it will find the job title who is matching sales repo. That record will be written. So that means it is checking all rows in the table. For example, in the same employee tables, we have a consider 10,000 records or a millions of records. So if you follow this method, it will take a lot of times. So we can achieve this, we can achieve by using the index. So create index, job title, and employees column name is job title. So index has been created. So now if you run this the same SQL command, it will give the information about. So it returned only 17 record. That means in table 17 records has a job title sales report. So that means it didn't this SQL statement didn't check all the rows in the tables. That means we can retrieve the records efficiency from the table. So if you want to see how many indexes are in the particular table or particular databases, you can use one command, show index. So show index statements. So show index statement it is used to list out all the index which are presented in the particular table or particular database. So indexes from employees. So from employees table, it will list out all the index. So currently, employees, we have a 4 index. We have a 4 index in the current employees. So let's suppose if you want to list out to index from the another database like Paytm payments, PCS, sys, you can use syntax like this one. Show index from table, and we need to mention the database name. In which database we need to get the indexes. So for that, in the same way, we can show indexes. So index in table. Our table name is employees. From our database is classic models. So if you execute on a database, okay, classic. So it will give the from particular database, it will give the all the indexes. So you can use this syntax or else. So both syntax will give the same results. You can choose whichever you want. And so if you see the after if you see the results, the entire index information has been retrieved. So here we can find some information about the index. One is table. So table. So on which table the index has been created. So currently we have employees table, non-unique key. So for example, if the index contain duplicate value, in those cases it return 1. If the index doesn't contain any uh, duplicate values, in those cases it will return 0. So here the primary key, as you already know, primary key does not allow duplicate values. So that's why it is making as a 0. So in the job title, if you see the job title, so if the job title, so in the job for the job title column, it can allow null values. So that's why it is displaying 1 as a result. And the another one is a key name. So key name is nothing but the index name. So as I already told you, so whenever you create a table using primary key or unique key, so MySql will internally will create index name for primary key, that is primary keyword. It will automatically create. So just now we have created one more index name, that is job title. So, and this is the sequence number. So in index, we can have each column, we can have a different sequence number. So it is showing sequence number. So in index, the sequence number starts from the 1. So on the another one is column. On which column we have applied this index. On the collision, it is nothing but how the column has been sorted. So that means if the column sorted in ascending order, it is showing A. If the column has been sorted in descending order, it will show B. If the column is not sorted, in those cases, it will return null. And the next one is cardinality. So the cardinality returns an estimated number of unique values in the index. So in index, we can have some estimated unique values. So it will return some estimated unique values. And the next one is subpart. So subpart. So it is a prefix for index. Devananda, Devanand, can you mute? Oh, the next one is a subpart. So it is a prefix for index. So it is a null if the entire column is indexed. So for
Sir,
example,
please
we
unmute
have
from your side for you to mute.
Devanand.
Please unmute you from your side because he is not taking.
Devanand is Devanand, can you mute? Can you unmute? Devanand. Yeah, because I can't able to make him mute. Okay. So subpart. So it is a prefix for index. So it is a null if the entire column is indexed. So we have created index that is the job title. For employee table, job title column. So we have created entire index. So that's why it is showing null. And another one is a packed. So it indicates how the key is packed. So if the key is not packed, it is showing null. So by default in MySql, so it will automatically packed in internal process. So the another one is null. So if the column support null, it will return as a S. Otherwise, it will return blank. The index type. So index type is nothing but to which data structures this index has used. So by default, the index B tree data structure will use by default. The comments, and as of now, we don't have any comments and index comments. So visible. So if you want to make it this index visible, you can make it as a visible, or else you can make it as invisible. And expression. So if the index uses an expression rather than column or column prefix, the expression indicates the expression for the keypad or also column name. So for example, if the index uses any expressions, in those cases, it will prefix that index. It will prefix that expression name. So, but we don't have any expressions. So that's why it is showing null. So this is the overview of the index details. And though these columns. So sequence in index. So that means here, if you notice, for entire, it is showing sequence number 1 for every column. So because here we are creating an index for only one column. For only one column. So that's why it is making one value for this job title. So if you try to create index like this, so if you create like this, so if you create to index on a particular table for columns, for multiple column like this, so the index would be for column 1, the index would be like this 1, and the second column would be 2. So like this way it will go on. But here we didn't mention like that, so that's why it is making as a sequence 1. So let's
Excuse me, sir.
suppose, yes,
So I want to ask something.
yeah, you can
How
ask.
this table non-inquiry and the data of the employment is being displayed? Can you explain me this part? Because we have not entered the data part, right, of the
Sorry,
employment.
sorry, can you repeat again?
Yeah, I was saying we have not inserted any data part of the employment, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
So how we are getting this tables, rows, and the column?
Yeah, so while session, I think 2 days back, so I have posted some data
Okay,
sample
from
database in the WhatsApp group.
yeah, okay, from that data we are doing.
Yes, from this classic database. So
Okay,
this
okay.
classic database I have posted in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in those databases, we have a lot of tables. So
Okay, fine.
calendar, customers. One of them employees I'm using.
Okay, fine.
S- So because it is time saving now, that's fine.
Yeah, no, my main was that how we have not inserted any data and how we are getting the rows and columns tables of the data.
Yeah, okay, okay. So without
Yeah,
inserting, without creating any table, we can't able to
because yeah,
retrieve now.
that what I was looking for. We have not inserted earlier. I have not seen that data. That's why.
Yeah, okay, okay. So now you can, now
Yeah,
you
yeah,
understand?
yeah. I'm clear with it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. So I can explain the show index with an example. So let me create one table. For example, create table. Let's suppose my table name would be contacts. So I'm giving my column name would be contact ID. So int. So I will give auto increment for contact ID. So auto increment. So this auto increment, it is a class which is used to increase number automatically without manually inserting into the uh, table. Next to first name where so 30. So I'm going to make it as a not null. Last name where so 30. So in the same way not null. Now email. So email would be where 30. Next to final one is phone number.
So first name spelling is wrong.
Yeah, thank you. So now I'm going to this contact ID. Now I'm going to make a contact ID column as a primary key. So who can do this? Who can do this here only itself? You can do this here also. For example, you need to mention the key name, primary key, and you need to mention the column name inside the parentheses. So contact ID. So next one is yeah this. So I'm going to make it email column as a unique. So because every candidate has a unique email ID. So for that I'm going to use unique and we need to mention email. And finally, I'm going to create index for first name and the last name at a time. So by using this way. So index, my index name would be name. So I'm going to give the what are the column names? First name, last name. So for index, I am giving the index comment. So comment to like this is first name and last name. Yes. So and one more is going to create yeah, visible now, invisible for phone number. So index for phone. So I am making it as invisible. By default, it is a visible. I am making it as invisible. So now we have created a table as well as so index for some certain columns. So now I'm going to display the index information. For the show indexes from our table name contacts. See, so currently we are retrieving the index information from the contact tables. So that's why it is displaying the table name as contact. So non-unique key. That means this. So as I already told, whenever you create a table with the primary key, so primary key, you don't need to manually mention the index. So MySql will internally automatically create index for primary key. That is called primary. So it is a sequence number 1. So for which column we have applied the primary key. So we have applied primary key for contact ID. So it is the column name. So in the same way, email. So here, if you notice, we have created email. So primary key and unique. Primary key and unique. For these two keys, MySQL will internally create indexes. So email and if you see this, so the next one is we have created index for first name and last name, and we have commented for those columns. So if you see the sequence number here, for first name, it is sequence is 1, for this last name, it is sequence number is 2. So like this, if you mention 10 columns inside the parenthesis, it will create the sequence number for each column. So and also it will display the index comment. So here we have mentioned the comment for index first name, last name. So that's why it will display is there any comment for those columns. So that's why it is showing this is the first name and last name, and this is the first name comment. And the next one is so index. So we created index for phone also, but here we make it as invisible. So that means phone number. So phone and non, it will automatically, yeah, see, visible. So we make it as a invisible. So that's why it is showing no. So apart from these phone numbers, remaining indexes, it is visible. It is showing yes. So you can query the index information by your condition also. For example, I want to retrieve informations like visible based on the visible. So now I want to get the index informations visible. Those visible is no. So we can get that by using the same command show index. So indexes from contacts. Here we need to mention our condition. Our condition is where visible is equal to no. So based on these conditions, it will display the index information. So it will give the only index informations, those visible is no. So this is the how you can make it, how you can show indexes and how you can create tables while creating the index. While creating the table, how you can add index. You can add multiple index at the same time, and you can add multiple index name for multiple columns at the same times. You can add comments, you can make it as a visible, I mean invisible.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
What is different between a primary key and unique constraint?
Yeah, for example, so primary key, the major difference is primary key and unique key. So primary key, it is constraint. It is used to retrieve the data from the tables. So that means it doesn't allow the duplicate values and as well as null values. It doesn't allow both duplicate and null values, whereas other hand unique. So the value should be unique, but it allow null values. For example, if you try to insert email as a null, it will allow. But if you try to insert contact ID as a null, it will throw an error. So I can show you one example.
Okay.
So insert into here we made it as a auto increment.
I understand, sir. No problem.
Wait. I need to clarify a doubt. So it will take 1 minute also. Other table name is contacts. Modify contact ID. In. So now we can insert into contacts values. So let's suppose I'm giving 2 and the first name is S, last name is B. So email would be something email.com. Phone number. So see, the record has been inserted. But if you try to insert, leave it blank, make it as a null. So unique. So see here email, we already inserted this email. So if you try to insert the same record, it will throw an error. So column contact ID cannot be null. So that means it is showing. So for contact ID, we have mentioned primary key. So if you try to modify this email, if you try to, it will throw error. So column contact ID. So because it is a contact ID is a primary key, that means this column should not be a null. And you will giving the ID as a 3. Now I am inserting EIF. Okay. See, so we changed the ID number from 3 to 5, but we didn't modify this email. So we are trying to insert the same email. So that's why it is showing duplicate entry df count for key contact email. So that is the difference between unique and primary key. Got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. So the next one is show index. So like how we, so here we created a unique constraint for certain columns. In the same manner, we can create unique index also. Unique index also. So MySql provide another kind of index called Unix index. So that allows you to enforce the uniqueness of any values in one or more columns. So unlike the primary key index, you can have more than one unique index per table. So the basic rule of primary key is, so per table, it contains only one primary key. But unique, we can have a multiple more than two unique unique constraints per table. So by making a certain column as a unique index, so it doesn't allow the null values. So to create a unique index, you use the unique index command statement. So use the as usually create. So after the create command, you need to use create index statement. So like this, create, you need to mention unique index. Obviously, we need to give the index name, then on to which table, and we need to mention column names. You can apply multiple unique index on multiple columns, or else you can apply a single column also. So this is the one way. The another one is while creating the table, you can create a unique index. So you can mention unique key or else unique index. Both will accept. So let's suppose let me make it, let me alter this contact table. So, first name, last name. Phone. So phone number, I am making it as not null. Email also making it as a not null. So now I want to create a unique index for email or else phone number. So you can use keyword. So while creating, so I am creating the unique index while creating the table. So that's why I need to follow this manner. So unique key or else unique index. You can use both. It is a synonymous for unique index. So we need to mention unique key or index. It will accept both. So for timing, I am making it as a key. So my unique key name is unique email. So my column email. So try to insert created. So I want to show the description of index. Show index indexes from contact info. See, yeah, this one. So we are making an email column as a unique key. That means unique index. So unique and unique index will follow the same manner. And these are the sequence number and collision. So that means it is sorted in ascending order, cardinality. So there is a no estimated values and there is a no comment and it is visible. So if you try to insert some records into this table, so let me insert some records. So insert into contact info values. Auto increment. So I want to insert first name, last name, email, phone. So my first name is PCS, last name is global. So email would be PCS that of gmail.com. So phone number, let's suppose so the record has been inserted into the table. So if you get the record, if you see the information, so let's start from contact info. See, the contact ID is automatically increased. So this is the use of the auto increment. So now if you try to insert the same record into this table, it will throw an error like how the unique in previous we saw how the unique constraints So in the same way, there is a unique index or unique key will perform. So it will throw an error like a duplicate entry like this. So this is the Unix. And finally, if you want to delete, so if you want to remove an index from the table or from the databases, you can use the drop index statement. So drop index statement, it is used to drop the existing index which are presented in the table. So drop index, we need to mention the index name on which table. So for example, take this same example, drop index. So let me copy this. So now I want to drop this. So now I want to drop unique constraint, unique index. So drop index. Index name is unique email on which table? Contact info. So that means drop index. So the query has been successfully executed. That means we can conclude. So the unique email index has been dropped from this contact info table. So like this, you can drop whatever index you want. For example, if you want to drop the primary key index, you need to follow some rules. So it doesn't to work like this. Like this man, it doesn't work. For example, if you try to drop index. So as I already told you, whenever you're creating a table with the primary key, the MySql will internally will create an index for primary. It is primary keyword. So that is our index name. So we need to mention that index name in the quotes. So primary. So on contact info. If you try to execute, it will give an error. So incorrect table, so there can be only. So because here we mentioned this auto increment feature for this contact info. So that's why we can't able to directly remove the primary key index. For that, first we need to remove this auto increment, then only we can remove the primary key index. So now I want to remove this. So we can make it as alter table. A table name is contact info. Modify contact ID. So I need to give the data type for my column as int data type and primary key. So okay, sorry. We already defined it. So we are modifying. So we don't need to mention primary key. So column has been altered. So that means we remove this auto increment from this column. So now if you try to drop this primary key index, it will give the result. So see, so the primary key index has been dropped. So like this, we need to drop the primary key. But to other indexes, we can simply drop, like a drop index, we need to mention the index name on which table or the index we need to drop. But whereas if you want to drop the primary key index, we need to we need to drop auto increment. If the table contain auto increment feature, then okay, we need to drop. Otherwise, we can directly drop the primary key. So this is the way we can use the index, how to create index on a set particular column or multiple columns, and how to show index, and how to delete, how to alter. Yeah, that's it, guys, for today. If you have any questions, you can ask me.